Welcome Internet. Now they can hear me. So, I was introducing myself. I'm Daniel. I make games under the name bitslap. I make a lot of game jams. I attend a lot of game jams, and I make a lot of games during the jams. I'm here to talk about pixel art. Not what pixel art is, but how you can use pixels to make nice graphics for your games really fast. Hopefully you can learn something. And also I want to say hello to all my friends at Ludum there who is watching right now. I know you're playing bingo with my pixel art terms, so I hope someone is winning. Anyway, I want to break down this picture I drew to see how each element is created and how you can use some easy techniques to make a rich and living experience for the player. First, I want to introduce the Dawnbringer 16 color palette.
Can you wait one moment? The colors aren't very pretty on the screen. I have to try to make it better.
Yes. Sure. Okay. So the colors are good on the stream? Okay. So now you can see the real colors as I intended to show them. Dawnbringer is a pixel artist. He lives in Sweden and he is a color wizard as well. He made this 16 color palette because he's awesome and he allows people to use it however they see fit. I mention this palette because when you're about to do a game and draw the game for a game jam, you only have so much time. You don't want to spend most of the time trying to find the right colors. So help yourself and use a palette that already exists. This is balanced to help you create all the possible materials and all the possible materials you can find and shapes and such things. So also to help you kind of find a uniform look for your game, it's good to have a resolution. Here I use HD resolution, 192 times 1080, and it's the HD resolution divided by 10 on height and width, and I use units that are 16 times 16 pixels. If I keep myself within these limits, I can probably easier produce a more unified look. So I will mention some about characters, props and environmental design. When it comes to characters, there are some things that are really the most important things. It's the head and it's the legs. For a game jam, I think body parts that aren't used for game design or for gameplay is a luxury. Hands, for example, if you're not going to throw anything, if you're only going to jump, you only need a head and legs and something that resembles a body. And during this talk I will focus on the side-scrolling platforming art. However, if you want to make a top-down game, you can use a side-scrolling sprite and just mirror it and don't bother with the up and down directions. Flambeer does this in Nuclear Throne, and it saves a lot of time to do it like that. So when you're about to draw a character, it's good to make a really large head and small legs, and then you can focus on finding a depth, make it look 3D. And I want to show this by taking away colors, so you can get the basic shapes and see how they pop out from the background. And I will also scale down the colors, because too many colors is not really needed to make something look coherent. And I can create different moods by changing the one of the three colors or two of the three colors. And I can even have two colors, and then I can spend time on making more detail on the characters. But if you compare it to the initial drawing, it's still very coherent. You can see what I'm trying to express. I will come back to animation of the characters later. For now, you might want to have some props for your level design. I have found that having an outline for almost everything helps when you want to create basic shapes. So here I'm going to over design a sign. And with just a basic outline and two fields of colors, you can have something called something that resembles depth. And you can even remove the colors inside it. You still keep the 3D aspect of it. And I can even shift the sign a bit to the right, or I can make the light come only from from the left. And here I'm starting to texture it again, and if I have great time, I can use these simple methods to create something more rich. But these are I don't know the term, but these are, a sign is something a human has created. Nature is a bit more tricky. It's very noisy, and you can spend all day trying to draw a tree or a bush, as I have, and you don't want to spend all day doing this. So my tips for this is just make a silhouette and draw noise on it, as if it were lit, as if the light were coming from the left. And for the next bush, I have chosen to just express just a little bit noise with as small means as possible. And then we come to tiles. Tiles are great because they can help you design levels. If you make a set of tiles, you can design a lot of levels in a short time. And you can even have an artist drawing the tiles and a level designer doing the levels. You don't have to draw the whole map in one image, for example. So for the purpose of this talk, I will scale down the colors to only 2 for a tile. And you can already see that it's something probably anyone can do. It's just some green, some black and some white. But the tile structure is still there. The level designer can still put out the tiles. And then we come to colors and environments. When you're working with limited amount of colors, you want to create some feelings of where you are, a setting. This could be a sunset in the desert, for example. And I moved that from grass. It's very easy to play with colors. And then you can add some basic shapes to create a bush and a sign and some clouds in the desert. And I'm still only using 3 colors. And then I can add some animations to it. So it's a rainy day in the desert. Or I can make it night, if it's a horror game about floating ghosts that hides in the bushes. If you notice the bushes, I have taken the same tile as I used for the earlier bush and just pushed it out. And since the lightning is coming from the left, it still works. And I have animated this creepy creature in here. And then you can add a character that stands out a bit from the rest of the level. It still has a look that could work in a game. So for animation is very time consuming. You usually see a lot of frames in pixel art these days, and for this talk I made an animation with only three frames. It's the standing one, it's a moving legs to the sides, it's a standing one which is a copy of the first, and it's a second run frame. And I moved the character up 1 pixel so you can have him run. I should have animated this automatically, but this is fun. So that was my simple tips for creating simple art and make it look somewhat coherent. And if you want to check out the slides, they are on my site. I haven't direct linked them, but you can add a slash and type pixeltalk.exe. And I even animated the character to show you how it looks when it runs. And these are just 4 frames. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you. Any questions before I leave the stage?
2 questions. Could you repeat that one that you said about the top-down perspective? What you should do with the sprites?
Yes, your question was about top-down.
Yeah.
If you have an environment from the top, which you are viewing from the top, you can just add this character. You don't need to make it appear to be standing on the ground. You can just add it as it is.
Okay. So it doesn't change anything?
No. Most top-down characters, when you look at the early Final Fantasy pixel games, are you see everything from the side anyway. So when you see a character, you see it as you were standing in front of it instead of on the top, and so it doesn't really matter.
Okay. My second question is, what kind of programs do you recommend drawing sprites? Do certain pixel artists use specific programs for creating sprites, or is any program, does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter. You can use MS Paint if you want to, but some tools certainly help with creating with workflow. I use Promotion 6.5. It's for pixel art only, and it costs some money. There is a free demo, and I haven't tried A-Sprite or the other ones, but I hear they are great as well. Are you on a Mac or a Windows PC?
I'm still using Windows, but I could anytime change to Mac. So does it really depend?
Well, that's good, because I don't have any help for Mac users.
Okay, good.
Question from the Twitch chat. How can we achieve synergy between visual elements in a short game? Please repeat the question.
How can we achieve synergy between visual elements? Yeah. Okay. Well, It was a tricky question.
If I were to answer that, say that having a coherent palette is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. If you just remove as many colors as possible, it doesn't matter if you have a trash can and a bush next to each other, and if they both are relevant to the gameplay, they still look like they come from the same world, which is the most important part, I think. Then for synergy, you might want to look into the concept you have.
Another question: do you have any opinions on Arne's 16 color palette?
Any opinions on Arne's palette? Yes, it's also amazing. Arne is a great pixel artist, and his palette is just as good as the Dawnbringer palette, which I use. No more questions? Thank you.
Thanks to Daniel, aka bitslap. The next talk on juicing up your game will be in 30 minutes, roundabout.